Welcome back to WeakT Gaming. What's up, YouTube? Today's video is taken from our Torment Tides of Numenera live streams. If you're not familiar, Torment is an isometric RPG that includes a lot of reading, so please sit back, enjoy story time, and give us a like or a comment on the video at the end. Heyo! We out here, you know, doing the things, reading, all the reading. All the reading. Good morning. Hope you are well. We, I think we need to, like, try to grind some levels, but I don't know how to do that this game. Because the endless gate, not strong enough yet. I should go. Is there an easy way to get to my labyrinth from here? Can I? Oh, that's rest. I need to get to my labyrinth. I don't remember how to. Oh, I know where to go. I know how to get to the labyrinth. Yes, location I already know. First cast-off's tomb. I know how to get to the labyrinth.
Yes, now.
Yes, now. I'll do that. Indubitably.
Of course.
This is how we get to our labyrinthine. Let the structure kill you again. Again, you force your hand through the repulsive waves and onto the structure. You go blind immediately, feeling yourself falling into a bottomless darkness through clouds of slimy, probing bodies. Something powerful crushes your heart within your chest. Then you feel nothing.
I'm hurt.
It's fine. It's fine if you're unfamiliar with the situation. Where we can't actually die. Except for when we die and we lose. But then other times, it's fine. Cool, because the pyramidal structure, I needed to, Eratus touched my labyrinth, and I needed to come talk to him about that. The reflection before you resembles Eratus, but an unmistakably older one. No golden glow surrounds him. He is plain, weathered. His hair is streaked with gray and white. His mind is blank to you, dark. His eyes are wild with the weight of his thoughts, but you can't hear any of them. Hey, what are you doing in my head? You found my herding stick, he murmurs, staring at the ground. I put it down before I opened the black box and the demons came out. They filled every part of the alcove and they filled me up. He takes a deep, shuddering breath. Most of them are inside me now, shouting and watching. You found the ones that were left, and they brought me here. Tears fill the wrinkles at the corners of his eyes. Are you Eratus? Yes, I'm me. I'm the me that lived alone in the nameless field with his Yol. He named them and tended them and clipped their yellow wool. A tear spills down his nose and drops to the ground. I think they're all dead now. No one fed them but him, and he's gone. I'm gone. Yes, now I learn the truth of Eratus. A dark, red light rises in his pale eyes. That was a long time ago, before the demons came out of the black box and filled me. Before I was called to adventure. The louder words tear themselves out of him, and he recoils from them, covering his ears. The glow ebbs from his eyes as suddenly as it came. Well, the voices I've been hearing in the other Eratus' mind, isn't it? He nods, still clutching his ears. They're the loud ones, the brave ones who make me brave. Phone call? I don't know you. What do you want from me? Why are you calling me? Or you could just hang up, that's fine. The other ones whisper, they watch, they're hungry. Indigo flickers at the center of his pupils like a distant bonfire. They want me to die. Aerith's mouth doesn't move, but the words seem to come from him anyway, hissing from the depths of his throat. You want to be free of them, don't you? No, my life will be boring, useless, without them. Aerith staggers back another step, pressing his lips together. The red and indigo flames coiling in his pupils subside, until only the pale blue remains. Yes, please. I want to go home. I want to find my Yol and go home. Drive them out of me, he says softly. Please. I don't want to be me anymore. I want to be him again. Should I take things off of Aerith's body before I make him a person? I've given him things. Do I need to take them back? This is safe. What's a Yol? Herd creatures, he says, and a look of calm happiness drifts beneath his troubled face. Soft, yellow wool, milk and cheese. Something like grief descends through his expression, devouring his brief happiness. My herd is lost now. I think they're gone. Why can't I hear your thoughts? I don't know. I think they're holding them, living in them. Use his lip until it's raw and bleeding, infesting them. Sounds like you liked being a Yol herder. Not until I wasn't one anymore, he says, dropping his head. I lived in the nameless field where my mother was buried. I liked making songs in my head, but I hated that field, that leaky house. Presses his fingers against his hollow cheeks. Wanted to leave it all behind, to sing for people, for meals in distant taverns. But now I wish I could go back there, sing to my animals, and sleep where my mother slept. You have any idea what kind of demons are inside of you? I don't, he says, shaking, but I feel them, hear them. He licks cracked lips. They glow and keep me awake. They shout and whisper. They live in my veins and cling to my spine with tiny teeth. Just for clarification, how did those demons get inside of you? One of my Yol wandered into that dead valley, he says casually, but his hand is clenched at his side. Its tracks went right around the alcove, and I decided to sleep there for the night. His fist is shivering. I heard sounds inside a dark box on a shelf, and I opened it. Ever since, I've been buried by them, by the other me, screaming and crying, never sleeping. He rubs his eyes with dirty knuckles like a child. I never found my Yol, and now I never will. They don't let me sleep, and I'm hungry all the time. They don't think of me as real. I'm their toy. How can I help you? I don't know, he says, eyes wide, and you see a mocking flicker of light at their cores. Find healers, maybe, or doctors. Can't think of any way to get those demons out of you? I don't know, he says, sagging, but healers might, or a doctor. Alright. Well, good news. There's still time to take objects off of Aerith's body.
Fine.
Don't worry, I'm fine. That's right.
All right.
That is correct. So do these other portals go places I can go? They're around the teleport pad is hot and smells of sulfur. You can't see how to make it function out of it. But this teleport pad is musty and smells like the entrails of some dead beast. It's unclear how Podge made it work because it's not functioning for you. There are traces of sand on this teleport pad, and it's far warmer than the sanctuary's temperature. It smells of seawater and bone. It's not active right now.
Yes.
So from the Valley of the Dead, let's say someone needed to grind some levels.
All right.
Is there a quick way to do that? Or let's press the buttons randomly. That sounds fun. Press the buttons in no particular order. After each button is pressed, one of the surrounding hexes lights up. When the fourth hexagon illuminates, a field of energy forms around you. You feel the same tight sucking sensation at your gut. Do all the tombs. How many tombs are there?
Of course. Go.
His love of protein powder was eclipsed only by his passion for carts and disused factory sub-basements. Beef hard slab. Nice. Do all the quests you can find in the Haven. Haven?
Yes.
Oh, I think I did all those. I haven't gone in the mirror, I guess. Do not let others define you. Whether you receive praise or condemnation, never forget that all that is just... all that. Forget that, all that. Oh my gosh. Never forget that all that is just people letting you know how well you are. You're serving their purpose. Never be afraid of taking your own path in life. Did you complete all the quests in the valley? I think so, man. Wraith on D.
Yes.
Here, I'll pull up my journal here in a second.
I'm ready.
The one guy said to read all the names, so I'm reading all the names. Journal. I'm opening my journal. Find help for Eratus. Need to find out someone knowledgeable, maybe a doctor. Then Choi, and that's Inafir, and in this gate, that's Inafir. Ah, I think I did them all.
Yes.
I'm currently in Tomb 4444. At least one tomb that you only find the code for in a random paper. So, there was Phoenix's tomb, and then there was a string, a harpsichord tomb. All right, did both of those. Oh, there's a person here. Silver! The arcane humanoid shimmers and displaces across multiple versions of itself in a blink. So quick is the motion that you almost doubt your senses. The black-clad being makes slow, deliberate movements, its eyes like dull gray jewels set into an expressionless face. You sense a malevolence, caged. Its voice is deep and rich. I am Silver. You are a fellow seeker, yes? Tantalum has sent me to learn the secrets of the valley. I can smell the desire on your skin, but not the success. I have explored many of them and learned many things. Tantalum has said I will find secrets here. He is correct. Keep up the search and your desires will see a reward. Must keep searching, but time. Yes, there is still time. What are you? There's at least one tomb that you only find the code for. Oh, I read that, sorry. Two whispers. His selves are an illusion, not a true ripple in reality. Do not fear him on that account. I am an acolyte, a seeker of knowledge, a devourer of artifacts, a stumbler on the path of truth. His eyes shine. An answer for the unanswerable. You believe Tantalum? Certainly, all of humanity's wisdom, and even much that is not of humanity, lies buried in this necropolis. It's only a matter of time and effort before one finds answers. What have you found? His strange face shifts through a variety of shapes. Truths of the old worlds reveal themselves to me. Secrets of time and reality. The shifting of particles smaller than perception allows. Undergird all, but they are not a part of my truth. My answer, I will find. Alright, well, good luck, buddy.
Go. Fine. All right.
What's this thing do? Saved the women, loved the men, stabbed in the heart, and never woke up again. Jennifer Ambrail.
Yes.
There's some other code. 1. 1. 1. 2.
Let's go.
What's this thing? Stubborn as death, not nearly as tall, though. Aaron.
Yes. Now. Fine. All right.
I feel like I'm gonna end up just clicking around here a lot. Up and to the left. Back and to the left. Oh, up and to the left was right here. Okay. No, that's actually very interesting. Wait, this is a different person. All you can tell about this man is that he is clothed in red robes, with a pipe in one hand and a staff in the other. Is he a weary traveler, a seeker of relics? Perhaps the pipe and staff are heirlooms from his ancestry. One thing is not in question, the look of disgust on his face. You're an explorer, let me guess. Tantalum sent you down here too, didn't he? He tell you to come find Hyro? Well, you found me. He scowls. Tantalum, that Drig. That sodden Lachnibber, that scabrous Tolk. I'll bet he does this to everyone, sends them off on a wild chase with promises of deep and secret knowledge, and then laughs about it to himself. How many does he send down here, and how many fall for it like I did? I didn't fall for it. What are you doing here? Oh, he fell for it. That's his words. Sorry. I'm an explorer, relic hunter, theorist, and now apparently the man who missed his funding deadline with his investors because of a stupid prank that craft eater Tantalum. Such a fool. Oh, just read graves, hero. You'll find what you seek. Bah. You know Tantalum too? Fortunately, he huffs, I was looking for ways to tie together a theory about certain gravity-bending civilizations. But Tantalum diverted me by saying I'd find my answers if I read enough tombs. So yes, I know him. That bastard. How many tombs have you read? If you ask Tantalum, not enough, he laughs. If you ask me, far too many. Found anything? Oh, hey, what's this? Circulating Mirrorcaster. Within the endless loop of this strange alembic, golden fluid froths, fumes, and then precipitates back into the boiling beaker where it began. Cannot quite trace the pathway the substance follows. It almost seems that it is not a liquid at all, but rather some kind of organism, endlessly and agonizingly transmuted within the unbreakable confines of the device. Well, I'll be using that. Kreft, skist. In other words, precisely nothing. He holds a finger up. That's not precisely true. I found this worthless piece of junk in a tomb, doubtless dropped there by some other sap, duped into Tantalum's errand. Worthless. Can't even break it down for shins. He tosses it to you. Here. A reminder not to listen to buffoons. Though I suppose I must admit to having learned something, he scowls. I've learned that death is inevitable and that Tantalum is a fraud. That my own death draws closer every second I waste on his foolish task. Alright, well, have a good day. If I ever see Tantalum again, I'll show him what these tombs are good for. I'll inter him myself. He puffs angrily on his pipe. You know what? I'm going to go find him right now. He strides away, realizes that you have spoken to him, and stops. He turns. My apologies. You're not to blame. Farewell yourself. Then he sweeps from the room. Callie laughs softly. Al would love this man. Well, now we have a thing. Oh, I haven't done Motley's. There we go. I haven't done Motley's tomb. That's nice. Use item. You withdraw the coiled Mirrorcaster from your belongings and weigh it in your hands. It is lighter than it appears. The liquid within calms at your touch. The mirror contained within the device does not calm. It hisses and boils, filling your mind with small, clawed shadows. A headache builds behind your eyes, but despite that, even because of it, you feel compelled to sink into it to let it wash over you. Inspect Mirrorcaster. Yeah, let's do that. The liquid within the tubes lies utterly still. No matter which way you tilt the contraption, occasionally a bubble pops against the glass and something within the device shudders. Into the mirror. Sunrise gives the sea a blazing golden sheen, and all the city, from the far harbor shanties to the splendid square just below you, basks in its light. The breeze blows fresh and brisk off the water. The song of night birds gives way to the chatter of clerks and touts, and your black-veined hands, twisted like talons, tremble on the windowsill. Behind you, men bicker about tests and shins, about a rot that has reached the heart and brain and cannot be cut out. You turn away from the window and face the men. Just as the closest of them, a one-armed servant in sumptuous garb, cries that there must be more that can be done, whatever the cost. But the other, a Shurgan, snaps back. I am no Montbank like Jalipa? Sure. Flinging ciphers at the sick till there are no more shins to shake loose. It is not healing to stir false hope in those doomed to die. They break off their debate to look your way. You don't recognize them at all, but plainly they know you and expect you to speak. Apologize for your confusion? Sure. As you stammer out your confusion, the servant's eyes widen with understanding. He steps closer to you, and in an almost tender gesture, he lifts a hand toward your face. His one hand, his one arm, his other side smoothly swaddled in silk. I am Cardago, your grace. You know me. And without it quite being so, he is right. Even poisoned as your body is, it feels the flush of friendship. This is Aram of the island. He has been treating your condition. Shurgan gives a slight nod, adding, my services are at an end, your grace. The roots have spread too far, too deep. What the wind sowed must now be reaped. How long do I have? Aram shrugs. Days, perhaps. No more than a week. Grows as it will, and will blossom when it is ready. What exactly is wrong with me? Two men share a quick, obvious glance, and your frail body quivers at the gesture. Cardago draws closer. The wind touched you, your grace. As he says it, his fingers dance as if unbidden upon the flat expanse of his maimed side. The iron wind. What it touches, it changes, seldom for the better. Your changing was slow. All these years you fought it. The doctors fought it. We fought it together. The islander's voice has none of Cardago's softness. And now you have lost. You are leaving this life at last. All that remains is to decide whether you will do so properly. There are preparations to be made. The Shurgan bows, plainly pleased that you've heard his words, then takes his leave. Cardago watches him go, then turns your way. There's work to be done, your grace, but you must rest. I will have the kitchen prepare your broth, and I will let your family know. He lingers a moment longer without saying why. What he wanted or awaited goes unspoken. As he departs, a tremendous weariness overtakes you. Beyond the window, the sun has risen and the sea is restored to old gray waves crashing on a sullied shore. The hours of rest have won you no strength, and the soup sits uneasily in your stomach. Cardago dusts your face with a rouge to hide its pallor, slides white gloves over your twisted hands, wraps you in a padded jacket that adds lost flesh and masks the bulbous growths. He tucks and folds and buttons, and at last passes you a looking-glass. In your trembling grasp, it shows nothing more or less than rot and sickness. You look like a corpse prepared for funeral display. Cardago has hidden nothing. He has merely framed your condition as a euphemism that others can bear. They are waiting, he says, and he guides your chair forward. Your eyes flick across the drawing room, alighting on the vast map covering the far wall, the shining oddment of crystal and azure steel whirling in a corner, shelves of ancient tomes, the writhing fire caged in the hearth. Then there are the men and women, young and old, all gazing expectantly, scores of stares you cannot meet in a sea of unfamiliar faces. On some, fear and desperation are naked. Other guests have done better in their concealment. A neatly groomed man in a neatly fitted officer's uniform sobs messily. He is the exception. Cardago puts his hand on your shoulder and a hush falls. Your grace, the family is gathered. To you alone, he says, they await your words. Let's try to ease their fears. That seems nice. They know you are dying. Your family may be strangers to you now, but anyone can see their fear, namely, that they will fall with you. Followers that they are, you must set them free. Speak of your weakness and their strength, of the darkness you face and the bright days ahead for them. You say that a family is, by definition, more than one member. Too soon, your well-worn words run out, and Cardago ushers the crowd from the room. The officer, however, insists on staying, and your servant is at last relents. Your Grace, your nephew Salvar begs a word. He withdraws a discreet distance. Continue. Salvar has everything you've lost: strength, beauty, vigor, and yet his haunted eyes, condemned eyes, are all too familiar. He bows, and thinking his face hidden, wipes it quickly with a handkerchief. As he rises, he kisses your gloved hand, your Grace. His voice, for all its glorious tenor, quivers as if he is far weaker than he looks. You have given me so much, and now, as your end draws near, I hope at last to prove my worth. His harried eyes dart about as he gives his little speech. Something troubling you? A false smile reveals brilliant teeth. No, not at all. I have discovered a wonderful opportunity, a mercantile venture in need of a leader, a man of precisely my skills, and a chance to purchase shares in the ongoing concern Preferred Stock. He stutters slightly over the foreign vocabulary of business. I can make good on what you've given me, prove that your faith in me was wisdom. The smile crumbles. I just need a stake to buy in. You mean shins, of course. Tell me more about this venture. Salvar nods, too fast, too many times. It is not without danger, physical danger, I mean, which is why they need a man who can swing a sword. He is interrupted by a cough from Cardago. The venture? Ah, yes. Well, it involves certain, saleable commodities that are in great demand in the oasis of Mara Jolius. Strictly highest workmanship, of course, but solid sold here, like, trinkets. So you see, exactly the sort of thing a sharp trader corners in the market, as they say. Sounds like you're being tricked, honestly. Salvar blanches. Ridiculous. That could not be farther from the truth. This is honest and good. The words race blindly ahead. This is a lucrative enterprise. Servant sighs audibly, the dull ache behind your eyes, the claws in your spine, your nephew's absurd deception. All of it drags you downward. Why are you doing this? Salvar takes a step back, his eyes watering. I want to prove that everything you did for me, the schooling, the sport, my commission, these clothes, prove that it wasn't a waste. All my life, I've had to pretend I deserved your love, your gifts, always knowing I didn't, always hearing others laughing behind their hands. Takes a ragged breath. Now I can prove you were right. Prove I was worth it. Prove it to myself. From the corner of your eye, you see Cardago shaking his head. Your nephew holds your withered hand with his long, graceful fingers. Please, I just need help one last time. Apologetically, unthinkingly he adds, it needn't be this evening. There is time. I'll need to consider. Of course, he says, nodding. Fear seems to fade a bit from your nephew's face. I promise. I will make you proud. Cardago leads him from the room. When your servant returns, he shakes his head. You have showered that boy in shins, your grace, and shared a greater wealth and wisdom, to no avail. A person can always be changed. Cardago flinches at your words, and the scorn falls from his face. After a moment's humble silence, he eases your chair back toward your suite. It's been a long day, your grace. You should rest. A soporific and anodyne mist brought by Cardago dulls the daggers that stab your nerves, and soon sweet oblivion settles over you. You awaken in the dark night with the certainty that you are not alone. Your uneven heartbeat races, and your rot-riddled eyes strive to find an intruder. Who's there, you hiss. Shadow sits at the foot of your bed, illuminated by the false fire glow of a cipher around her wrist. As your eyes adjust, her face becomes faintly visible. You recognize her from the gathering. She was at the back of the drawing room, and she left before anyone else. Casca, she answers, identifying herself. Though by now she knows you've seen her. Or have you forgotten me entirely? Forgotten almost everything, it seems. You haven't forgotten to spoil Salvar, Casca scoffs. You haven't forgotten your three-legged lapdog. At the twist of a knob, the cipher on her wrist floods you with bright, blinding light. And you haven't forgotten to sleep in silk either, have you? Okay, why are you angry? I'm not angry, she says in a low, dangerous voice. I'm hungry. And I want what you've been feeding my sweet, soft, rotten cousin all these years. Your shins. Missed like half of this? What do you mean you missed half? Like, you clicked the wrong options or what? Or why should I give you money? When I'm gone, you'll be provided more machines will make you soft like Salvar. Better grow stronger by earning them yourself. Why should I give you money? In the twilight, she gives a short, flat reply, because I've suffered. When I'm gone, you'll be provided for. Casca nods once without saying a word, then darkens the cipher on her wrist. Without its light, the room becomes completely black, utterly silent, and empty, but for the whisper of her departure and the ever-present pain within you. Weakness and throbbing pain are the morning's gifts, unblunted by the herbal broth Cardago has brought. Death will not stop knocking. Oh, yeah. By the time the clocks cry out midday, a palsy has seized your left hand. Your servant gives you a relic to grip. Some ancient creature locked in amber. It slips from your grasp and shatters on the floor. The beast flies away. At that moment, a caller is announced. Cardago leaves, then returns visibly dismayed. The medicant, your grace. Without awaiting an invitation, your visitor enters, a tall man, stiff and slender as a poker, finely dressed and bangled with ciphers. He glows with a confidence as he gives you a half bow. Your grace? Well, you know, work definitely comes first. At a curt nod from the medicant, Cardago steps out. Your guest then sits beside you and takes your hand. I've heard, he said softly, naturally not from Cardago, but your family cannot help but share their panic within the city. His eyes glisten with fathomless compassion, or at least a fine simulacrum of it. The hour against which you prepared for so long has come round at last, and they who surely knew the day would come are as unready as house pets. They have leaned on you greatly, but then so have I, and so have your children. He gestures to the leather portmanteau, yeah. He has sat at his feet. I am here to bring your plans to completion. Yeah, how can I help? The medicant eyes you carefully, then gently nods. I know that a cloud has fallen on your mind. It would give me great joy to lift it. For many years, your generosity has given new hope to the dispossessed and neglected children of this city. A long lifetime's worth of wealth has transformed what my hospice can provide. The lands alone, your old hunting preserves, and the mouths they now feed, the wrecking field at Crefton, and the honest labor of gleaning its Numenera, the campus of the hospice itself, and all the lost souls it houses. As you insisted, no one knows of these gifts but us two and your solicitor, he smiles. And now I seek to drink the last dregs of your estate. You may expect a bequest when I am gone. Medicate beams with gratitude. Would that you could live to see the good your gifts will do. Then his smile fades slightly. There's one other matter of a more personal nature. If you would permit, I would like to show you a picture of one of my wards. He unhinges the portmanteau's clasp and begins to reach in, as if in response, the shaking of your hand grows stronger. Yeah, go for it. From his bag, the medicant takes a glass tube filled with a swarm of ants. Next comes rich parchment, which he lays upon your desk with a deft motion. He pulls the cap from the tube and pours the ants on the page. They skitter madly, but not aimlessly, oozing acids on the page until, at last, they've etched a flawless picture. You see a young girl afflicted with almost unspeakable corruption, half her flesh a wilderness of misplaced parts and oozing sores. One of Cardago's brood, the medicant mutters. Most of them are killed at birth, but by the whores, if not by him. Unbidden, a strangled sound escapes you, and Cardago bursts in. The medicant slips out without another word. Hey, the medicant told me about your children. Cardago's face turns red with rage, and then, as he sees the formadiograph, yeah, sure, use words, of his daughter, shame. I see, he whispers, turning away. Face hidden, voice low, he confesses. I was a man when Kaylee let me join you in the border march, and a monster when we wed. Her love never flinched. He begins to pace. Could mine? She wanted the child, but I dared not burden her with another such as me. As he steps forward, black motes swirl in the space between you. Jalippa swore there was still some good in me, untouched by the wind, that could grow in my wife. He reaches out. But I had to know, for her sake. Before you can condemn or absolve, the fit comes, and all else goes. Darkness fades in part. The agony stays redoubled. Through a haze, you see your bedroom and two men beside your bed. Cardago is gone. His hand is on your bony shoulder. Cardago is one, not gone. His hand is on your bony shoulder. His companion, properly in every punctilio. Why can't I read that? Proper in every punctilio is another stranger. Your Grace, you barely hear Cardago's voice. It is as if your ears are packed with wadding. I've brought your solicitor. The man sniffs. As you'll recall, Your Grace, you declined my offer to draft a will against this day. He speaks of mortgages and credit lines and accounts payable, wasting your last life on a lawyer's long-winded way of saying what little wealth you truly have left. Now you must tell me, how am I supposed to dispose of the residuum? This hour is funded. My casket and let her buy a better life with the money. Establish trust for Cardago's children wherever they are. Sort upon the medicant's hospice. Divide it evenly among my family. I'm not dead yet. Bring your lip to me. Do whatever she can to save me. This is tough. I was hoping I'd get to choose a couple, you know. Yeah, divide it evenly. They'll be fine. You can barely whisper the words, but as the final darkness creeps across your vision, you see the solicitor nod. Your life's last short span stretches almost indefinitely, and you are seized by the fear that you have spread your gifts too thin to do much good. Then the fear fades, and the darkness turns to golden waves lapping on the shore, and your long days are finally done. Right, yeah, there's only bad choices. I think that's the point.
I like your dress. It's very colorful.
Do you, dear? It was always my favorite.
It makes you and all the different yous look like a flock of giant birds.
Your first compliment was sufficient, thank you.
I feel like I've been here.
Ready.
Which tomb am I in? Yeah, I'm back in 1111. Okay, hold on. I have a tomb to go to. I need to go to 5143. Enter some code. 5. Hello? Did I press? Wait. Yeah. Press the button with 5. 1. 4. 3. Show me Motley's treasure. Well, hello there, Oddwald.
Dated my journal.
Oddwald the Sane, a frail humanoid creature with olive skin, clad in rags wrapped around its waist, rummages about aimlessly, fidgeting with elongated hands. Scattered and frizzy, dark strands on its scalp appear to be hair. As you approach, he rears his head, revealing large yellow eyes with tiny black dots that stare back at you gleefully. His smile, wide for a creature of his size, shows a perfect set of teeth as his head moves inquisitively from side to side. You stand in Oddwald's mind, he proclaims. Its thoughts are strange. No words, only music, humming, whistling, singing, sometimes with lyrics, sometimes without. They make no sense at all, not even musically. Callie, you're a strange one, aren't you? You're a blur. There's something about you that shivers space. You're not quite anywhere that I can see. He bows low to her, a wide smile on his face. That's because you see me flat, even if you pierce the papers. But I stand up from the page and step to the place I need to be, and there I am again. Callie, I see. You're not just crossing reality, you step through higher dimensions. He nods frantically, as I just said. What can you tell me, though? I'm important. Why, my friend, I am Oddwald, Oddwald the Sane, Oddwald the Magnificent, Oddwald the true seer and keeper of the past. The one who knows, the one who remembers, the one who hides, and the one who laughs. Which is some of his gigas? Sure, around on the floor. That's a word, for sure. Creating an intricate pattern, or perhaps just a mess. They said I was mad. Carkers, my mind a melted machine. When did they come in to see? I did not open the eyes to let them taste the colors of my thoughts, but they swept the knowledge into me and out of me, and all that's left is dust. He drums in a rhythmic, sure, that's how that word's spelled, for sure, definitely. In a rhythmic pattern into the dust of the tomb's floor. After a moment, he scatters his assembled junk with a swipe of one hand. The pieces fly randomly, but each lands during one of the beats, and they land in a straight line. He gathers the pieces, insight, foreknowledge, intuition. A predator's mind trapped in the prey's body, see the puzzle fit together, and find the nearest bolt hole. Hey, what's up, Steven? How's it going, man? What are you doing here, Oddwald? Doing? All the myriad delights of life lie before me. Breathing, heart beating, observing, digesting, expressing, micturating, sure. Pontificating, answering, ruminating. It is a good time to be alive. To be alive. He shoves a piece of his junk. Say, I am discovering myself and the world and the hidden parts of the universe. Listen, these tombs, I know them. They sing to me. They're new children. The children and their gate. I know of them. I even know the fearful Inafir. They are not secrets, though they are secretive. Look around you. You see the walls? I see the history, the past, the future, the potential. I line up probabilities, and then I push them around until they are true. Callie is quiet for a moment, staring off into the distance, and then says, No, you don't. A figure of speech, a number of hyperboles, a jaunt into temporality of the mind. He looks at her and quickly rearranges 3 pieces in his jumbled pattern. You are correct, my dear. Callie shivers a little. Stop doing that. You're making unwelcome ripples. He looks abashed. Of course, of course. What can you tell me of the children of the Endless Gate? He lowers his head and smiles. They know me, I know them, and when they come with ill intent, when they come as friends, I greet them warmly and keep an open otherwhere at my back. And keep an open otherwhere at my back. Sure you do. Yeah, that's a place. When they come as enemies, they cannot find me. These doors to the other worlds, I have opened them. One brought me here. One opened my mind and spilled my thoughts out. One taught me to put my thoughts back in. He hefts a handful of small bones. You don't know where he found them. He casts them on the floor and laughs to himself and scoops them back up. So strange to think of a mind as a place to store thoughts, only by custom, only by memory. Much better to find a place for your thoughts in the world. He pauses and thinks. Of course, then you have to worry about someone stealing your thoughts. Tell me anything useful about the children of the Endless Gate? He frowns. Theirs is a door that might best be closed, but the opening comes unless. Shrugs. But none close it. Your brothers see you don't act. Your brothers see but don't act. They speak but never listen. The opening is an opening. I have places to go, places to hide. Those here, they're stuck in one perception. The gate, a weight of hate, too late, too great to close the gate. But I want to close the gate. What do you know about Inafir? Who knows a sibling better than a brother? Who has forgotten the face of his father, but remembered his acts? Who has seen a broken mind turned into a vengeful thing? He has no taste for blood, nor for flesh, but his children bring him these morsels anyway. They do not heed his advice. They call him lord, but he is their slave. Poor Inafir. A life misremembered, misinterpreted. He regards his junk pile, a life wasted in fear. Inafir, too near, too dear, engineer of fear sincere. Okay, do you know anything about a girl named Choi? Ah, Choi. Choi in joyful repose, a chin in thought, a foot full of toes. Though the toes are mostly missing. Well, then she's not full. What? Snatched away by wind like the light in her eyes. He hums a snatch of a popular song and immediately mangles it. What was it? Ah, yes, it was... No. He hums the tune again and mangles it in a different way. Yes. Yes, that's it. 4-2-2-2-1. 4-2-2-1. But remember, he says, dancing from one foot to the other, if you want to learn anything, you must hold your breath. Alright, bro. I'm leaving. Can't handle your weirdness.
I'm going.
I'm also gonna rob you. As you poke through the supplies, Oddwald howls. Do I put my fingers in your brain? Leave it alone, now! Alright, I'll leave it alone. He breathes a sigh of relief. Gratitude is hard to find here. I would hate for you to have stolen mine. Alright, alright.
Yes.
Might touch the statue, though. Unending, unchanged, yet to begin. Before now time, now before time. Empty words to fill an unremarkable void. Entropy is the only truth to remain unchanged.
I'm ready.
Look, Ma, no hands.
I'm going.
To the code to a location I know. Choice tomb. What is that thing?
I'm going.
Hello. As you approach the rock pillar of the tomb, you feel subtle variations in air temperature and the pressure around you. Tiny gusts and zephyrs push your eyes towards specific striations in the stone. Allow the wind to guide your eyes. Remembering that you were told you hold your breath, the gentle breezes control the flickering of your eyes toward unpredictable places on the wall. The patterns and purposes of the gusts quickly become clear. They have been training your eyes to see, and suddenly the truth comes clear in twisting letters made from distortions in the air itself. They're in an older version of the truth, but you can read them. It's an epitaph, and it bears the name Choi Kasul. Kasul. That was the surname of the memorialist you met when you entered the valley. Ronos Kasul. The wind has not stopped. Its subtle pressures are trying to guide you to new patterns. Yeah, do it. Words appear in the air, shivered into being by the subtle gusts, and you read the tale. Come you now to the tomb? I can read. It's fine. It's fine. Fine. Come you now to the tomb of Choi Kasul. Nope, I can't. That's fine. It stands empty, for her body is gone. Wrested away by the foul children to feed their endless gate and its infernal master. We raise this marker to commemorate the life of our beloved. Swear undying vengeance upon the man who stole her from us. Choi Kasul, your name will live forever. The shapes hover in the air a moment longer, and then the air ceases its restless flight. The letters disappear instantly, and all that remains is the sound of your breathing. Does this do anything new? Reese summons up the name, tells her story, and how she was killed by the children of the endless gate, and her loved ones swore vengeance. When it is finished, the wind drops and the letters vanish. Okay.
Let's go.
Honor remains honor, always. It is not for us to know what end is true, only our actions in achieving it matter. Finally, my choice is made. The Fall. Perfect Avenger.
All right.
Perfect Avenger? It's this little flaming guy. Seasons roll turning, eternally returning, but no summer twice. SWD. Chevron Dudaplex? Nice. Good name.
I'm ready.
Let's jump back to the Acropolis entrance.
Yes.
I must level up. I'm like full gold now on my tines. Extra effort. Cipher limit increased. Nice. Interpose. Ends turn immediately if any ally within short range is hit by an attack. While this ability is active, swap positions with them and take the damage. Oh, well, that sounds like a terrible. Choose 2 abilities. Gain a plus 5% bonus for each level of effort applied to perception and lore. Energize. Choose a damage type, confer energized. All damage dealt is converted to the chosen type. Quantum Step. Teleport one ally to a point within range. Gravity manipulation. Space warping pulse pushes or pulls all creatures in range. Unstoppable force! Gain plus 2 damage on S. Oh, that actually might be worthwhile. Targeting eye. Gain plus 15%. Ooh. Adaption. Gain protected. Armor bonus plus 2 per tier. Resistance bonus plus 1 per tier. Active 3 rounds. Insight action. Target an ally with enemies in weapon range. Then choose one of those enemies. The chosen ally makes an immediate attack on that enemy. Entropic field. On a hit, confers vulnerable. Armor reduction. Resistance reduction. Mind barrier. Gain plus 1 intellect pool, plus 1 armor. That's actually kind of useful. Innervate. Remove all negative fettles. Heals 6 points of health. I'm feeling frisky. I think we unstoppable force and we mind barrier. Child. Found choice marker out of a strange epitaph, but I learned choice surname. This name is Ruan. More about when I had perhaps you could shed some more light on this. I visited choice tomb. I asked Oddwald. If I need to do anything with that. Alright, so...
Yes.
Steven, what are you going to do now that you've finished your Nuzlocke run? What is there left to your life? Dude, the music out here is crazy. You've been seeking the secrets of the valley. I read about 28. Great, keep searching. You're sure to find the answers you seek. They're named Tyra. He said you're a fraud. Did he? That's a pity. I was going to mention him to you and tell you not to follow his path. He leans in closer. Hyro's not dedicated. Doesn't have the ability to stay the course. I'm sure you will, though. I met a guy named Silver who also knew you. Ah, and how is that delightful creature? How has it been doing on its particular task? What is Silver? What kind of creature? A human, I suspect, though in a strange shape. Smiles to himself. A strange shape indeed. What is Silver looking for? Oh, that's for him to decide. But I imagine it's not an answer he seeks, more like he's seeking himself, or itself, if you prefer. Let's talk about something else. Yeah, I'm gonna leave. Alright, catch you later, bud.
Go.
Portal me out! Hey, Ronos, got a question for you. Have you taken care of the cultists? The longer it takes, the more I fear for all of us. He puts his hand across his eyes. I'm sorry, I shouldn't rush you. How can I help you? I found a tomb for a girl named Choi. Choi Kasul. How interesting. No, sadly I've never heard the name. I took my name not from Choi's marker, but from the hero I was in my true life. Ronos Kaisul. Here, let me give you the code to that tomb so you can visit it yourself. He clears his throat. Maybe Choi's name is in the histories, if you can access them, that is. Scribbles numbers on a scrap of cloth and hands it to you. 2413. There's more tombs! I got more tombs!
At last.
All right.
Step into the light.
Yes. Of course.
We out here grinding. Grind a level. Ronos Kasul's turn. Take me down where the tombs are pretty. Ooh, ooh, take me down.
Yes.
As you touch the engravings on the epitaph, you feel familiar stirrings of air pushing your eyes toward the imperfections on the surface. As with Choi's tomb, the glyphs of the truth curl into shape as distortions of the air inform themselves into the name of the deceased, Ronos Kaisul. More words begin to form, taking shape like clear smoke. Examine archives, display likenesses, leave. Well, examine archives. A whisper of wind tickles your ear. Protection of archives enabled. Speak the code and read freely. Remember the words of Choi's marker. Your name will live forever. And so you whisper that name, Choi. It works. Reams of potential information begin spilling into the air, hidden behind these words. History of Ronos Kaisul. Experiments. Bequests. Genealogy. Let's go with history. Lighted images appear on the currents of air, subtly distorted, and they show the progression of Ronos Kaisul's life. A voice, slightly modulated through the wind, speaks. Ronos Kaisul was born Ronos Jevin, an only child in a successful merchant family of Sega's Cliffs. His parents sought for him a position within the bureaucracy. He showed an early aptitude for the gentlemanly pursuits of governing, weaponcraft, and poisons. His interests took him elsewhere. He became fascinated by the secrets of the ancients and experimented with their lost knowledge. Under the tutelage of the Aeon priests, as one of their number, he sought the secrets of life and established himself in the field of medicine, focusing particularly on those damaged by the Numenera. He married Rinda Kaisul, taking her name for himself and their family. They had a daughter named Choi. She was the new center of Ronos' life until the children of the Endless Gate abducted and murdered her. Ronos vowed to avenge Choi's death and destroy the cult. This vendetta consumed him. Options now include a return to the main tree, where you can hear and read about his experiments, or you can continue with the Ronos Kaisul's vendetta against the children of the Endless Gate. Let's do it. We're in there. Let's go. With the loss of his daughter, Kaisul resigned from the Aeon Priests and turned his full attention to destroying the cult. By then, they had moved on, leaving him with no object for his revenge. The voice flatly notes, Rinda Kaisul took her own life. Ronos redoubled his efforts, sold all that he possessed, and devoted himself to finding the children. In time, he hired an explorer named Markaisa to assist in this pursuit. There was a pause then. Neither returned. Years after disappearing, Kaisul sent a letter to his oldest mentor. The voice quaked slightly. In it, Kaisul explained that he had found the children and their leader, Inafir. He wrote, Inafir and the others are victims, not monsters. They are prisoners of pain, and Inafir is a slave to dark masters beyond our plane. Rather than seek vengeance, I will endeavor to set them free.
Making a note.
Some months later, Kaisul's body was transmitted to that mentor as well, and many years later, the body of his guide, Marcissa, was deposited in the Valley of Dead Heroes. Thus ends the story of Ronos Kaisul, entombed herein. His wife, Rinda Kaisul, is interred in her family's ossuary in Sega's Cliffs. The marker of his daughter, Choi Kaisul, can be found at 4221. Marcissa tomb lies at 1254. Voice crackles to a halt, and the main menu returns. Impossible. The code for Marquesas' tomb is the same as that of the Endless Gate. Oh, whoa! Experiments. A voice speaks. Experiments included vivisection and necrosection on a variety of creatures across the Protectorate's biome. These led to investigations into cross-dimensional manifestations and psychosis, a field of study Kaisul abandoned upon the death of his daughter. A formal list of scientific citations follows. Quests. A subdued male voice speaks. While Scholarch Kaisul liquidated the overwhelming majority of his estate shortly before his disappearance, certain family trusts and ongoing honoraria and royalties remained. These were assigned to the Aeon priests of Sega's Cliffs until confirmation of Kaisul's death. At that time, his remaining properties escheated, I have no idea what that word is, to the city. A list of financial instruments and revenue sources scrolls across the screen. Genealogy. A voice of indeterminate gender reports Scholar Kaisul Nijevan conducted extensive research into his background. He has uncovered trace evidence that he is distantly related to the slave families, though further research suggests that his particular branch was excised 150 years prior to his birth. He married Renda Kaisul, and they produced one daughter named Choi. She perished, and with her passing, both the Kaisul and Jevan lines vanished. That's kind of sad.
Go.
It was tough being me. Chance Tarka. Sorry to hear that, Chance. Our last breaths in this tomb, at last we are free. Our two hearts afloat in rivers of time, finally beyond this reality. Our two souls released, like birds they flew away, finally together for all eternity. Read the name on the plaque. Jean Fracois and Elodie.
I'm going.
What have I got? What have I got? Gastoff, Choi, Ronos, In This Gate, Mudwald. Let's go back to the Necropolis entrance. I need to talk to this Ronos fellow. Hey, thanks, DS. Yeah, I'm trying to grind here. You know, I'm trying to find all the little extra bits of XP. Maybe see if I can get a level or two. Try to tier up.
Yes.
You get it. You get it.
Yes.
Yeah, I need you to fix my friend's head. He's got demons. Have you taken care of the cultists? The longer it takes, the more I fear for all of us. He puts his hand across his eyes. I'm sorry, I shouldn't rush you. How can I help you? The same. Also solved a few quests linked to the gate. Hope it helps. I don't know if it paid off. Yeah. Well, hopefully it does. Oh, he doesn't. He's not ready to help me with my friend's brain. Sad.
I'm going.
I'm running out of extra bits here. Learn more. Oh, I guess I could go to her tomb. Trying to find all the little bits and bobs, you know? Step into the light.
Ready.
Got one other mirror I can jump into for sure.
All right.
Yeah, have a good day. If I get a chance, I'll try to pop into your stream tonight. See how it goes. Take me to the endless gate. Hello, cultists. What's the time for? I'm so confused. Yep, yep, he does the things. They jump into the portal. I, however, am not going to jump into the portal. I'm not going to give in. Ooh, interact. Children of the Endless Gate seem to have paid special attention to this tomb. Their scrawl covers it in bloody smears and gobbets. What little you can read seems to offer praise to the dead woman and to whatever it is the children worship. Beneath this desecration, however, is an old carved inscription. She stood watch between hope and horror and died, beloved on her feet in service of we who suffer. It is signed in a fear. Look more closely at the children's writing. Incomprehensible scratches and scrawls, all of them, and you can't make sense of them. Yet, somehow they fill you with a vague and nameless horror. Amidst the bloody rants and paeans, you find a symbol carved into the stone itself. You recognize it as the sigil of the children of the Endless Gate, surrounded by scrawls to an unnameable and alien god. Touch the symbol? This seems like a weird choice. As you reach out to touch the symbol, a spark flares from it, and you feel your tattoo blazing in sympathy. The rock under the symbol evaporates as if it were transmuting itself into another dimension, revealing a large niche.
I'll remember that.
Oh, another mirror. Nice. Within is a thing of strange dimensions and impossible angles, spun from an unearthly metal that seems to flow as you examine it. Its branching limbs cross in a lattice that holds no clear pattern. Tidal energies seep from it, and you recognize the sigil of the changing god stamped on its base. What else it might be, this is a Mirrorcaster. But not one you can use, at least not now. Someone has twisted it out of alignment, and it would be impossible guesswork to return it to a proper state. Try to read the name. You cannot read the name, for it is obscured by splatters of blood smeared by the venerating touch of countless passing cultists. Still, fairly certain that this is the tomb of Marcisa, whose proximity to interfere must be what inspired this display of, you hardly dare call it devotion, but it's certainly effusive. Away. Okay. I'm gonna use it. This Mirrorcaster is made of strange dimensions and impossible angles, spun from an unearthly metal that seems to flow as you examine it. Its branching limbs cross in a lattice that holds no particular nor no clear pattern. Its surface is hot and somehow restless, as if it wants to move but cannot. Soft nubs press into the soft flesh of your palm, pulsing gently. But when you turn the device over, there's nothing there. The silent voice of the mirror within sings to you, calling you to join it. I will access the mirror. Someone has twisted this Mirrorcaster out of alignment. It would be impossible guesswork to put it in a proper state. Access the mirror. Let me in. Let me in. All right. Change its description at all? No. It wants to be used, but it cannot be used. But it wants to be used, but it cannot be used. What do I need this for? Don't remember. What does this do if I try to use this item? Metallic edges of this engraved globe press into your palm. Interlocking spirals spin over its surface, pulling out your thoughts at places in your mind. Before your eyes, segments of the spirals rise from the sphere with whispering clicks, forming detailed sigils. Buttons. Hold the orb up to the light. The light is faintly visible through the curves of the orb's inner spirals, but only just. Excuse me. You see flickers of movement within. Mechanisms, perhaps. Press the cage signal. You press the cage sigil and with your thumb and hear Owl's voice in your head, as though from a great distance. Doesn't make sense, he mutters, accompanied by the clicking of tools. It's like this thing wants to be broken. Interesting. The sphere connects you to people you have met in the real world. And more than that, you sense at some instinctual level that it can transport you or transport them to you if you call them while pressing the button and they're willing to come. Press the button etched with falling towers. You brush your thumb over the button and feel someone's attention on you from within your own head. It's Creature knows you're thinking about it. Nice. It's the tree sigil. Button yields easily. You hear Rin sobbing quietly as though she were trying to keep it in and not be heard. Her sobs cut short when she notices your presence. Who's there? Please. Whoever it is, you have to help me. Cruel voice of Toll Magyar cuts her off. Who are you talking to, little bird? Well, whoever it is. Sudden blast of force strikes you painfully behind the eyes and the connection is cut off. Button rises back to its former position, refusing to be pressed again. Oh no. Oh no. Alright, put the overlay. That's kind of a cool little thing. What else we got? What have we learned? I'm the owner of the Mirrorcaster. I found a Mirrorcaster of all things inside Marcis's tomb. Don't know why it's there, but I have a feeling I know who it belongs to. The man in the memory, the cast-off behind all the horrors of the valley. Oh, so I can give that to Inafir. He'll fix it. Nice. This gate. Finally in this gate. I don't know what it means. Oh boy, are we at that time again? I don't think we are. I'm not ready. Not ready.
Yes.
Let's go to the first cast-off's tomb, huh? Let's do that. Let's go jump into this other mirror. And then maybe...
I'm going.
Hey, Adris. Hello again, my brother. I'm ready to give you the Mirrorcaster. You need but ask. My companion has demons in his mind. Can you fix that? Okay, moves to Eridus. Oddly, he's silent. Silent, sober, and looking at you. Adris turns back to you. We do not like this. We do not like it either. What can we do? Nothing but dig deeper and deeper. No. The only cast-off healers I know are elsewhere, tending to those who can actually be injured. My apologies. I'm ready to talk to Mazov. You have proven to me I can trust you. Only remember what you have learned in these tasks. Be gentle with Zarian. You are violating his mind. Be true to his path. Find what you need and return without causing him harm. You have a duty to preserve his life as he intended it, if at all possible. She presses the box into your hands. Tidal energy swirls around it, drawing you in like a maelstrom. You focus on it, opening your innermost eye, and you are torn from your body. When you first open your eyes, there's only a ruddy glow and frightening shapes and shadows around you. The air is hot and stifling. As your eyes adjust, you realize you are outside, but the sky is darkened by clouds of pitch. The ruddy glow comes from lava flows as they trundle down distant mountains into the volcanic fields all around you. Sharp towers pierce the sky, tapered like the bones of a rib cage. Indeed, they look like bones in every way, as does the ground beneath you. You appear to be standing on the spine of an enormous beast. The bottom of its jaw can be seen far in the distance, half buried beneath a layer of cold lava. Most of the bone towers look identical, but one shines from the inside with an odd blue light. The top of the glowing tower has been snapped off, and what looks like a transport hovers next to its peak. It's your transport. You were sent here to find something. Twisted bridges connect the spine to the volcanic fields around you. In one direction lie enormous formations of obsidian, arches, spires, a wall. In the other direction, a narrow pass is carved into the mountain face. The field leading to the canyon is illuminated by hundreds of glowing lights. You know this body wasn't sent to find Mazov, but Adris said he'd appear. Perhaps following through events will lead to it. Explore the towers around the spine. Search through tower after tower. Some of the chambers you come up to are filled with piles of dead relics and broken ciphers, but nothing of value. Finally, you come across something promising. You find a staff made of some prior world metal. It's cool to the touch, unusual given the extreme temperature of the air itself, and burn marks blacken one end. Very likely this was used as a weapon. It may work again, but probably only once. Take the staff with you. Go to the Obsidian Formations. Crossing the volcanic plains, you arrive at the Obsidian Formations. Massive structures of cooled, shining rock leap from the ground, curling into impossible shapes. An enormous black wall rings most of the formations, rising 100 meters out of the ground in places. The Obsidian Formations are dark, quiet and desolate. A hot wind blows from magma flows farther off. But here, nothing flows and nothing lives. In the distance, you can see the spine and bone towers, and in the other direction, the plains stop at a sheer cliff face with a mountain pass carved in between. Explore this area. You search for anything remotely interesting, but the place is barren. As you are about to leave, an orange glow reflects off the rocks ahead. An enormous paw steps in your path, and the rest of the creature emerges. It's like a pillar of light with claws. 100 faces twist in its body, emerging, howling, then melting back into the curling fire. The creature is easily 3 meters wide and at least twice as tall. The word Jimorn bubbles to your mind. Use the staff. You aim the charge into the staff at the center of the Jimorn and press the button on the side. Thunder claps in the air and a scalding beam of light strikes one of the Jimorn's faces. Jimorn howls in pain. Its rage wasn't directed at you before, but it is now. It charges at you. Uh-oh. You try to fire the staff again, but nothing happens. The staff is useless. Let's attack it with the whip. Lash your whip at the Jimorn. It has as much effect as whipping a campfire. Run to the mountain pass. Jimorn lets out a piercing cry. It stays right on your tail the entire way, forcing you to sprint, gasping for breath in the hot air. You can feel the Jimorn's rage like a hand pressing against your back. Presses harder, squeezing your mind. The Jimorn's howl makes the ground tremble. Suddenly the pressure releases. The air turns burning cold. You risk a glance behind you and realize you are in the center of the plains leading to the mountain pass. Surrounded by fire wights, the Jimorn grabs wights one at a time, tearing them in two and tossing them aside. The wights rush forward together to defend themselves against the horrible beast. In their anger, you are forgotten and ignored. Carefully explore the fields. With the wights ignoring you, searching the fields is relatively easy. You find a kind of shield embedded in the molten rock, and you feel, rather than see, the strong presence of death here. Searching further, you find a copper sphere lying on the ground. The sphere. With the wights' attention focused exclusively on the dangerous Jimorn, it's easy for you to slip in and grab the sphere. None of the creatures notice you at all. Can I get the shield? Wights don't bother you as you try to pry the shield from the ground, but after a few minutes of tugging and digging, you realize it's impossible. The rock has cooled and melted and cooled again several times around the device, not going anywhere. Go to the Obsidian Formations. Crossing the volcanic plains, you arrive at the Obsidian Formations. Massive structures of cooled, shining rock leap from the ground, curling into impossible shapes. An enormous black wall rings most of the formations, rising 100 meters out of the ground in places. The Obsidian Formations are dark, quiet, and desolate. A hot wind blows from magma flows farther off, but here nothing glows and nothing lives. In the distance, you can see the spine and bone towers, and in the other direction, the plains stop at a sheer cliff, faced with a mountain pass carved in between. Try to remember who you are and why you're here. You are in the body of Zarian Daywalker, a Jack who can speak with the dead. Indeed, now that you remember that you can feel the dead all around you, you can hear them. It takes a little effort to know the stories of those who died here. You may even be able to imbue some of your life force into their corpses. Zarian is wearing a black, form-fitting suit that keeps off the worst of the heat. He carries a whip and various necromantic ornaments. Zarian was on a task for someone called the Chimera. He was sent here to find some kind of sphere. Use your connection to the dead to learn more about this location. Obsidian formations did not form naturally. Creatures made of pure light, called fire whites, formed these structures out of hot, flowing magma, then supercooled them into the shapes they are in now. The whites were trying to get at something or someone. You see a pair of figures atop a small flying platform. One of them holds a copper sphere that glows with a golden light. The whites tried to trap them here with their wall, but they escaped and flew toward the mountain pass. It looked like they were fighting over the copper sphere. Perhaps that's what you were sent here to find. But I already found it. Another event occurred here. The fire whites have killed many people over hundreds, even thousands of years. These deaths culminated in the creation of something called a Jamorn, a creature of pure rage. The Jamorn has since wandered these volcanic fields with an insatiable lust for revenge, mostly against the whites that created it. The mountain pass. Wow, that was a crazy sound. You are on the volcanic plains in front of the mountain pass. The Jamorn and the fire whites are still fighting a terrible battle. The whites have surrounded the Jamorn now. They seem intent on destroying it, but the creature is very strong and cornered. It could be a long fight. Here's your connection there to learn more about this location. See a group of people in tattered clothing march through the pass and out of these fields. They are terrified, having lost many of their number to the whites. You see two figures riding a small flying platform, almost like a shield. Suddenly the platform teeters, and the figures fall. You can see the spot where the shield fell, and though the bodies are no longer there, you can feel their presence very strongly. And there, a short distance away, you can see where one of the figures dropped what looks like a copper sphere. I already picked up the sphere. Let's talk to them. Though there are no bodies on the surface, you can feel the dead beneath the rock, preserved by magma that has flowed over this spot over the centuries. One is a middle-aged woman named Amma, the other is a girl, but she is strangely silent. Even with your strange powers, there is nothing there to speak with. Peace, says Amma. Is it better? Better? Yes. Better oblivion. Who are you? Amma, the disembodied voice sounds like it's calling Amma rather than naming herself. No, not Amma. Shelled. Cast away. Eaten and alive and eaten again. Not Amma. Food for whites. What happened to you? Buried to death, before that lived, before that died, before that lived and died and lived, and so many cycles, so many deaths. The air shivers, her tone drops dangerously low. Before that, someone else, awoke and remembered, a fight, a girl, Limnion. Though you cannot see Amma, her presence moves through you. Turns your head, you see in the fields in the distance what she is talking about. Their Limnion, a sphere of burnished metal lying in the rock, and you know this is what you were sent here to find. I already picked it up! Why can't I speak with the girl? Gone, gone, but not gone. You shudder, but it's not you who is shuddering. She woke something. Vengeance, though no vengeance is in her. Feel Amma's presence looking off toward the obsidian formations. There's something glowing and moving over there. Let her return to peace. Amma becomes silent. You sense a wave of gratitude and annoyance, but mostly the former. Then nothing. Her presence is gone. You feel like no asking will bring her back. She's glowing in the obsidian formations, crossing the volcanic plains. Imagine just like walking back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Crossing the volcanic plains, you arrive at the obsidian formations. Massive structures, cool, shining rock, leap from the ground, curling into impossible shapes. An enormous black wall rings most of the formations, rising 100 meters out of the ground. Obsidian formations there's nothing here. Okay, return to the spine. You are on the spine of a great dead monster. Buried in the lava, rib-like towers jut out of the ground all around you. A transport floats next to two landmarks of visibleness, master ascending formation, a carved mountain pass. Got a feel of glowing light. Your connection to the dead. Learn more about this area of the spine. You were in a place called the Fields of Ossifigan. Latin. And many have lived and died here, though it seems a terrible place to live. Scavengers from Sega's cliffs have been through here in recent centuries, seeking treasures of the past. Before that, it was mutants fleeing revolution after bloody revolution in a place called Harith. Before that, refugees from a village called Schwinha. Before that, the Ossifagans themselves. You see a glimmer of a powerful artifact. Hundreds of years ago, there was a battle here. Many died. 2 people, a middle-aged woman and a teenage girl, fought over a copper sphere at the top of the glowing bone tower. Climb the tower to the transport. We're at the top of the broken bone tower. Jagged bone walls act as a kind of parapet. From here, you can see the fields of Ossifagan even better. The spine below you, the obsidian formations in one direction, and the glowing fields in front of the mountain pass in the other. Floating just next to the tower is a hovering pod made of azure steel. A ramp leads from the parapet into the transport. What's going on up here? Little has happened here, but for one event that immediately becomes apparent. You see a middle-aged woman, you know her name is Amma, facing off against a young girl named Thaya. Amma is hovering in the air, like the transport does now. She holds a copper sphere that glows with a golden light. Angry words are exchanged, and suddenly Thaya leaps off the tower and tackles Amma. The two of them soar through the air toward the obsidian formations in the distance. Yeah, I've already been all over. Guess I'm entering the transport. You step aboard. The transport does not appear to have been made with adult humans in mind. There's only room enough for you to lay down, and even then you have to roll on your side and bend in your legs slightly. As soon as you have done so, the ramp recedes and the doorway disappears. Your stomach lurches as the transport takes to the sky. At first you try to peer out of the tiny portholes, but all you see is pitch black. Presumably the volcano's black clouds. Eventually they are replaced by the black of a starry sky. Try to see the land below, but it's impossible in the cramped space. Hours pass. Finally, the transport slows, its humming ceases, and the door reappears. Step out of the transport, stretching painfully. You are in a strange cavern. Artifacts are strewn everywhere in various stages of repair or experimentation. One wall is covered by a network of displays showing people and scenes that mean nothing to you. In the center of the room is an enormous cage made from steel tendrils that twist together at the top. The cage glows for a moment and a figure walks out. He wears a thick cloak, but his face is most strange. It shifts and blurs, changing its features constantly. You get the impression you are seeing a person, but you can't define what that person looks like at all. The name comes to your mind immediately, the Chimera. Took you long enough. The Chimera's voice is metallic and artificial, shifting as often as the features of his face. His expressions slide and change, but all of them are frowning as he reaches forward and takes the sphere from you. With your unique gifts, I thought finding a dead relic would come easier. The Chimera sets the Erlimnion on a nearby table with a clunk. He immediately picks up a variety of scanning tools, one after the other, probing the Erlimnion and its secrets. He seems to have forgotten about you. You look around the cavern, but there are no entrances or exits. Nowhere this Mazov could be except for the cage. Examine the cage to figure out how it works. Take 2 steps toward the cage, but the moment you reach your hand toward it, the Chimera stops you with a bark. What do you think you're doing? Your mission is complete. I have no purpose for you out there. I need to speak with Mazov. Mazov! Chimera's altering voice slips from baritone to falsetto in a rapid series of notes. A dozen different eyes narrow with suspicion. I'm not sure that Tinkerer could tell you anything useful, but I can think of no reason to deny you. Chimera turns and slides a hand along one of the metal tendrils. Although no discernible interface appears, he presses his finger against the metal twice, and the cage begins to glow. Chimera turns his attention back to the sphere, indicating you should enter the cage with a dismissive wave. Two of the metal tendrils become a kind of doorway. On the other side, Mazov squats on some sandy alien shore. Stars twinkle in the sky behind him, but they are no stars you recognize. He picks up his head as though he heard something, then he turns around to face you. One of his eye sockets is artificial, alternately projecting a human eye, a snake's eye, and something even more alien in the time he looks you over. He looks like a shipwreck survivor, bare-chested, ragged pants, ragged beard. So, he's better fed than you'd expect. Zarian, he says, his human eye squinting in the light. What the hells do you want? He peers forward as though trying to see into the cavern. Where are you? Spreads his arms in mock welcome. I'm on a goddamn beach having the time of my life. Where does it look like I am? Crosses his arms across his chest. What the hells did you want? The resonance chamber has been smashed. Puts a hand to his chin. All anger and suspicion gone in the face of a puzzle. Well, it ain't that hard if you know the basics. The chamber's crystal, yeah? So it's grown, not built. So long as the chamber's core is intact, it should know how to grow itself. You just need a catalyst to... Trails off and looks at you anew. Why do you want to know this? The resonance chamber is only good for... Gives you an angry look. Who sent you? Why are you after this? I'm trying to stop the sorrow from hunting us. Mazov barks a short, bitter laugh. I don't doubt it would stop the sorrow and a great many other things. I don't know how, but the changing god's trying to use you. If that chamber's fixed, nobody benefits but him. Can't trust a damn word that bastard says. Wasn't the changing god who told me. Ah! Well, if that's true, then it's someone who only has our sire's interests in mind. Stay away. That's my advice. Resonance chamber is only good for one thing. He holds up a finger, and that's snuffing us out. Changing God plans to use it to merge all of us, every cast-off that still lives, back into his body. That's his plan for stopping the sorrow. Puts a grease-stained hand on your shoulder. Look, I don't know who you are or what your part in this is, but you cannot let him activate that chamber. He glances over your shoulder at something in the cavern, though when you turn, you see nothing there. The first is alive, he whispers, drawing your attention back to him. And she's got her own plan for the chamber, one that won't kill us. One that won't kill us all. Our sire has a new cast-off body that he plans to use as a catalyst for the chamber. But the first has a better plan, something that won't snuff out every last one of us. Look for her in the bloom, he says grimly. Just make sure you don't... Before you can finish, you feel a wrenching twist in the center of your body. Like your heart is being wrung dry, your vision tunnels black. You feel as though your body were being sucked through a steel pipe. Being pulled out of the mirror, but it's far more painful than it ever was before. Then Mazov, the cave, and everything else disappears. This has been a WeakT Gaming video. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Punch the little notification bell, maybe give us a like or a comment, and you know what? You have a nice day.